Tour Wrestling Brawl. I am your host, Infinite Fantasy, and we're sold out here in Springfield, Illinois. And looks like we're starting off tonight's show as the Women's Grand Tour Champion, The Witch, makes her way down to the ring. She ended up headlining last week's weekend-long pay-per-view event as she went one-on-one against the bad boy Benjamin Bourne, the GTW World Heavyweight Champion. The match was to determine which one of those two was the undisputed best in GTW. Unfortunately for the Witch, she came short as Benjamin Bourne ended up being victorious and is now the undisputed champion of Grand Tour Wrestling. Well, I gave it my best shot on Battle of Champions. Unfortunately, it was not my night. Bourne, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. You were the better wrestler. In fact, the mantle of the best wrestler in GTW goes to you. And frankly, you deserve it. Congratulations. At Battle of Champions, you finally got to complete your story. Ben, I am happy for you. I wanted to win because I earned the mantle when I defeated my brother at WrestleNova, but that right was taken from me the moment the Grand Tour title was split into a men's and women's title. My moment in the sun was ripped from me before I could successfully defend it even once. Battle of Champions was my chance to make it right. However, Benjamin, you did beat me. Enjoy it while you can, because on Dystopia, everyone is going to be coming for you now. I can accept this loss because I gave it my all, and lost without any tricks. But then came the undisputed tag team titles. When Amanda was recovering, it was me that helped Steven Dynamite defend those titles. And we made a great team. An amazing team, really. I feel I was robbed of my opportunity to prove that with Amanda's sudden return. However, if I am to be honest, it's not Amanda I hold a grudge against. And it's not that I could not compete for the undisputed tag team titles that has me upset. Steven, I have a confession. I have a confession I need to make to you. And it's not easy for me to say, and I've been trying to say it for a while. So if you could just please come on out to the ring. I really need to say this to you. Steven Dynamite will not be here tonight on Brawl. Considering he and Amanda Price were two of the few here on Brawl that actually pulled their weight in Battle of Champions, I gave them the night off. I see. Well, thank you for informing me. I guess I'll just take my leave then. So, if you just excuse me. Hold on, Witch. You're not dismissed. We still have your performance review to talk about. My performance review? Yes, particularly the main event of Battle of Champions on Night 2. You did very well against Brenda Bison. Knowing the superior women's champion is on Brawl makes me feel a little bit better, but you're not undisputed, are you? No, that title went to the guy from the Blue Show. Aya Matsuda will be defending her women's European title as our opening match because she made me look bad at Battle of Champions. Next week, The Outlaws will be defending their tag team titles against the winners of tonight's number one contender match because they really made me look bad in their champion versus champion match. But you witch, you made it to the finish line and then you lost. Bourne should have not been a problem. You beat him in like what, 5 minutes a few months ago? And now I'm supposed to believe he is better than you? That he's the best? You lost, and as a result, the wrestler from Dystopia is the number one competitor in GTW. By losing, you made Charles Elliott look like the superior director. I look like a joke to my boss, to your father. It's a problem when I cannot produce talent that can outdo the talent contracted under Mr. Elliott. Okay, April, so what? You want an apology for losing a match fair and square? I hate to break it to you, April, but Charles is the better director. No. No, he is not. You are just an unworthy champion. I told you if you lost, I would make your life a living hell, didn't I, witch? Do you know who impressed me? Red, when she won the I Quit match against Jamie Hayter. Now, that is championship material. In fact, I'm going to give her a chance to prove herself, because tonight, in a non-title match, it's going to be you versus Red. Let's see how you hold up against her. Good luck. And looks like we have a match set here tonight on Brawl. We're going to be having the Witch in a non-title match against Red. I guess you can say this is April Cassidy's way of auditioning one of the newest members to the women's roster. And here I see we got G-Props here in the chat. First comment for tonight's live stream. Don't go away, because coming up next, we have the Women's European title on the line. It's going to be Aya Matsuda versus Rachel Rodriguez coming up next.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall and is for the Women's European Championship.
And here we have Rachel Rodriguez, who will be challenging Aya Matsuda for the Women's European Championship. And it looks like our director, April Cassidy, is on a warpath against most of the champions here on Brawl. After the majority of them, with the exception of Steven Dynamite and Amanda Price, losing their champion versus champion matches against the champions from Dystopia. And technically speaking, the mixed tag team titles are defended on both shows, so that doesn't even count. I can probably understand April Cassidy's frustration. And now she's taking it out on Aya Matsuda first, as she has just wrestled on last weekend's pay-per-view and is already defending her European title here tonight. J-Prop saying my phone is dying. Oh, we don't want that. No, don't worry about it. You can always catch up on this later. Make sure you got your phone charged. Championship on the line here.
Introducing the challenger from Los Angeles, California, Rachel Rodriguez. And her opponent from Osaka, Japan, the Women's European Champion, Amaya Matsuda.
Matsuda taking one last look at the Women's European Championship. This could be the last time she holds on to it. Rachel Rodriguez is a former Women's World Champion and is not to be trifled with. Here we go, our opening match for Brawl. The Women's European title on the line here. Matsuda with a Samoan drop onto Rodriguez. He springs off the second rope with a leg drop. And already the European champion trying to end things quickly. She goes for the pin. However, Rachel Rodriguez immediately able to kick out. Huge leg drop by Aya Matsuda. And nice arm drag by our Women's European champion. Okay, 10-minute section. Aya Matsuda coming off the ropes. And she takes the challenger down. And this woman is going to fly with a swanton. Crucifix leg drop by the European champion. Immediately going for the pin. 1, 2, and Rodriguez with a kick out. And I want to remind everyone that the challenger here tonight is a former women's champion. Rachel Rodriguez is definitely not an easy opponent to defeat. Although the circumstances of Aya Matsuda being forced to defend her title tonight are unfortunate, a win for her tonight would validate and solidify her as one of the top wrestlers in the women's division. And would definitely help elevate the European Championship here tonight. Rodriguez bringing off the ropes, spine buster by Rachel Rodriguez. And now, it looks like that move has done a lot of damage to the European champion. Aya Matsuda struggling to get back on her feet as she desperately throws an elbow at Rodriguez. Rodriguez being slammed into the turnbuckle, but she comes back with the right cross. And we got a nice card here tonight. It's already been announced that we're going to have the Witch in a non-title match against Red here tonight. On top of that, we got a #1 contender match for the tag team titles, as we're going to be having Damage Inc. versus the Creed Brothers. The winners will be taking on the Outlaws next week on Brawl for the tag team titles. And our main event, we got the Intercontinental Championship on the line in a ladder match. Channing Stacks Lorenzo versus the Intercontinental Champion Obelisk. That's all still here to come tonight here on Brawl. Matsuda coming off the ropes there. Rodriguez jumping over, and another devastating spine buster onto the Women's European Champion. Rodriguez in rare form here tonight. She's ready to taste championship gold for the second time in her career. Rodriguez looks like she's about to go for a scissor cut. However, Aya Matsuda able to reverse into a power bomb. And here comes the Women's European Champion facing the challenger Rodriguez into a submission hold. However, Rodriguez was able to counter the attack. And Matsuda keeping the offense onto Rodriguez here. And now we see that Matsuda gain the upper hand here as she springs up the ropes with a spinning DDT. You hear the crowd going absolutely crazy as Matsuda brings the fight to Rodriguez. And it looks like she's going on the top rope. She's getting ready to fly here. Atomic elbow drop by the women's champion, Aya Matsuda. And here comes the pin. It's going to be 1, 2, but Rodriguez with the kick out. Goes for Rodriguez with the counter. She has Matsuda into the corner. And a double knee drop into the sternum, nearly breaking Matsuda in half there. Rodriguez making her way off the top rope with a swinging neck breaker. That could be all she needs. But oh no. Rodriguez smells some weakness there. Probably a possible injury and looking to take advantage. Matsuda seeing the drop kick coming, however. And Rodriguez may have just given Matsuda a little too much time to recover instead of going for that cover. Rodriguez continuing the assault though as she lays in a reverse DDT. Matsuda now closing in on the corner. He brings Rodriguez to the top rope. Matsuda ready to make this girl fly. And a German suplex off the top rope. And now, here comes Matsuda for a high-risk maneuver. Atomic elbow drop by Aya Matsuda. And here she comes. The pin, 1, 2, 3, and Aya Matsuda retains the Women's European Championship.
Here is your winner, and still the Women's European Champion, Aya Matsuda.
Incredible title defense by Aya Matsuda. This is definitely a big win for our Women's European Champion. Don't go away, folks, because we still have more to come here tonight on GTW BRAWL. Is there something I can help you with? Yeah, not that it's any of my business, but maybe you're overreacting with the Witch and the other champions. I don't think I'm overreacting at all, Samoa. Nearly every champion on BRAWL lost to the champions on Dystopia. I cannot have such weakness in my brand. I need champions who can properly represent me. In fact, I was not only... In fact, she was not the only one to lose the Born. Isn't that right, Samoa Joe? Maybe you're not the man I want representing the Grand Tour Championship. What are you trying to say? What am I trying to say? Well, let's put it this way. Chad Gable had defeated a recently undefeated wrestler twice now. Maybe he deserves a shot. We'll find out next when he faces Jon Moxley. Oh, and you may want to pay close attention to this one because the winner will be your opponent at State of Emergency in 3 weeks. Just heard it from April Cassidy, we're about to have a number one contender match between Chad Gable and Jon Moxley. The winner will be taking on Samoa Joe for the Grand Tour Championship at our next pay-per-view event, State of Emergency. And that match is coming up right here on BRAWL.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring, representing American-made from Minneapolis, Minnesota, weighing in at 202 pounds, Chad Gable!
Chad Gable, since debuting in GTW, has been very impressive, defeating Grayson Holiday, a recently undefeated wrestler, not once, but twice now. His record has been impressive enough for April Cassidy to grant him a number one contender match here tonight.
And his opponent from Cincinnati, Ohio, weighing in at 240 pounds, Jon Moxley!
And here comes Jon Moxley, who's been eyeing the Grand Tour Championship for a while now. Looking to go one-on-one with Chad Gable. The winner of tonight's match will be, oh my gosh, Jon Moxley not even giving Chad Gable a chance to warm up here, running right in. The winner of tonight's match will be Samoa Joe's opponent for the Grand Tour Championship at our next pay-per-view event in 3 weeks, GTW State of Decay, which will be live streaming here at the Infinite Fantasy If Twitch channel. Huge right hook by Chad Gable there. Now brings Moxley into the corner, and Moxley throwing a huge elbow. And now he knocks down Chad Gable, going in for those right hands. Gable with a kick to the head. You can see him eyeing his opponent, but Moxley coming out of nowhere with a dragon screw. Huge double axe handle by Jon Moxley. And he follows up with a dropkick onto Chad Gable. Moxley looking to dominate tonight's match. Nothing personal between these two competitors, despite Moxley's aggressiveness. But there's a big prize in front of them as Moxley now gets on top of the barricade. Looks like he was waiting for Gable to get up for a high-flying move. Gable playing possum there, and Moxley not falling for it. Moxley getting back in the ring. Very smart. This is not for a title. It's the number one contender match. If Chad Gable gets counted out, it still counts as a win for Moxley. And Chad Gable getting back in the ring. Moxley locking up. Kick to the midsection by Chad Gable. Here's with a huge right hand, taking Moxley down. And now he's wrenching the head of his opponent. Crowd definitely favoring Jon Moxley over Chad Gable here tonight as he makes his way to the top rope. Moxley with an atomic elbow drop off the top rope as he goes for the cover. And it's going to be a 1, 2, and Chad Gable getting the shoulder up. Moxley just squeezing that wrist, trying to inflict as much damage. Oh, and there's Chad Gable coming in with the clothesline. Now going for the cover on Moxley. Moxley with the kick out though. Get to the midsection. Chad Gable coming in for a vertical suplex. And now he's rolling around. Looks like he's going to go for a second one. Suplex City by Chad Gable. And 3 suplexes by Chad Gable, taking Moxley out. Now, on that second turnbuckle, he runs in, but Moxley counters with a super kick. Moxley telling Chad Gable, I can't really repeat what he's telling him right now. But I think all he's managed to do was make Chad Gable angry. And what we got here is a classic match between a technical wrestler, a pro at technical wrestling, such as Chad Gable, versus a straight up brawler, a straight up powerhouse like Jon Moxley, who's meeting Chad Gable's technical prowess with brute force as he takes him out with a flying bulldog. And Moxley hits the stomp. Moxley hits the stomp on Chad Gable, but oh no, here comes American Made. Chad Gable's flunkies. No one came out the entrance. It was just their music. Their entrance music hit to distract him. However, it did not serve Chad Gable any good as Jon Moxley saw the deception. And now gets a 3 count on Chad Gable. It's going to be Jon Moxley versus Samoa Joe at State of Emergency.
Here is your winner, Jon Moxley.
American Made attempting to distract Jon Moxley with a fake entrance music. Moxley able to see through the deception and takes Chad Gable out for the 1, 2, 3. When we return here on BRAWL, we got another #1 contender match, this time for the tag team titles. It's going to be Gerard Skinner and Dan Slater of Damage Inc. versus Julius Creed and Brutus Creed, the Creed brothers. The winners will be taking on the Outlaws next week on BRAWL for the tag team titles, so don't go away. So, I was thinking, Miss Cassidy, with all due respect, if I impressed you so much, why is my match with the Witch not for the women's title? I don't want her to lose the title. Not yet. I have my plans for the Witch, and that's all you need to know. Well, why the hell should I wrestle her, if not for the title then? Listen, Red, if you win tonight, next week I'll give you a shot at the Women's Intercontinental Championship against Hayley Webb. Will that suffice? Now you're speaking my language, Miss Cassidy.
The following contest is a tag team match scheduled for one fall. On their way to the ring, at a combined weight of 511 pounds, Dan Slater and Jared Skinner. Damage Control.
Tonight's tag team contest will be determining our #1 contenders for the tag team titles. Damage Inc. has so far had a very impressive record since debuting in GTW. So far, unless I'm mistaken, I believe they've won every tag team match they've competed in thus far.
And their opponents at a combined weight of 495 pounds, Brutus and Julius, the Creed Brothers.
Just one match earlier, the leader of American Made, Chad Gable, attempted to become #1 contender for the Grand Tour title, but was defeated by Jon Moxley. Now we're going to see if the Creed Brothers, the students of Chad Gable, can fare better against Damage Inc. so they can take on the Outlaws next week on BRAWL for the GTW Tag Team titles. Start off with Gerard Skinner and Julius Creed, and there's Brutus attacking Gerard from behind, but he's not taking his eye off the ball. Comes into Julius with a scoop body slam, followed by a leg drop, and Damage Inc. is definitely in rare form here tonight. They know that a win tonight means a shot at the tag team titles next week, and they're not willing to give that up. That's the Irish whip. Julius throwing Gerard Skinner into the turnbuckle. And here he comes. Gerard Skinner, shoulder being slammed right into the ring post as Julius now taking advantage of his weakened state. Grapple up. Julius coming in with a slam right into the ring. And now he tags in his brother. Here comes Brutus Creed, now the legal man in tonight's #1 contender match for the tag team titles. Brutus coming off the ropes, leg drop, but nobody home. And there's Julius attacking Gerard from behind. Brutus with a Samoan drop. Now making his way to the second turnbuckle. You see Gerard Skinner desperately trying to crawl towards his partner, Dan Slater. However, Brutus not allowing him to make it to his partner, clotheslining him into the corner, and here comes the pin. One. And the immediate kick out by Gerard Skinner, still very early on in this tag team match. And there's Brutus with an elbow onto Gerard. Gerard coming in, Russian leg sweeper onto Brutus Creed. Look out, just dropping that elbow right onto his opponent. Into midsection, DDT by Gerard Skinner. Now making the tag to his tag team partner, Dan Slater. Dan Slater now coming into this tag team match completely fresh. And now they grapple up. Brutus grappling from behind. Oh, a headbutt right to the back of the head of Dan Slater. Grapple once more. There comes Brutus coming in. Just look at that upper body strength by Brutus Creed. The Irish whip. Dan Slater with the reversal. And a big clothesline by Dan Slater. He follows up by a jawbuster. You can see a little bit of worry on the look of Julius Creed. on the corner there. Brutus trying to fight back, thrusting his shoulder into Dan Slater. Dan Slater hopping up that corner, rolling Brutus into a pin. Brutus immediately kicking out, making the tag, and here comes Julius. Julius being welcomed by a huge kick to the midsection, and now he brings into a swinging neckbreaker. And you see Dan Slater successfully warding off both members of the Creed brothers. Julius with a pin, and Dan Slater immediately kicking out. Still to come here tonight, we got The Witch in a non-title match against Red. April Cassidy told Red that if she can beat The Witch here tonight, she'll be getting a shot at the Intercontinental Championship against Haley Webb next week. And our main event, we have a ladder match here tonight as Channing Stacks Lorenzo is challenging Obelisk for the GTW Intercontinental Championship. Got Dan Slater and Julius fighting here at ringside. Julius making his way back into the ring. Was throwing Dan Slater off the ropes. Huge momentum slam from Julius Creed onto Dan Slater. And he is knocking his head into the turnbuckle. And the Creed brothers coming in, double shoulder tackle, charging in full force. Dan Slater now tagging in Gerard Skinner. Skinner coming in, sidewalk slam, and here he comes making the pin. 1, 2, and Julius with a last second save. Skinner coming in, huge clothesline on the Brutus Creed. Making his way to the second turnbuckle. You can see how badly Damage Inc. wants those tag team titles. How much they want to face the Outlaws next week. How much they want to taste the gold. How hard they're fighting against the Creed brothers to make that match happen right now. That's Slater going for the Irish Whip. Brutus now in Damage Inc.'s corner. Gerard Skinner makes a tag to Dan Slater. And a cutter by Dan Slater onto Brutus Creed. He's going for the cover. This could be it. 1, 2, 3, and Damage Inc. is the #1 contenders. They will be facing the Outlaws next week for the titles.
Here are your winners, Dan Slater and Jared Skinner. Damage Control.
Very impressive victory by Damage Inc. here tonight. Coming up next on Brawl, we're going to have The Witch versus Red in a non-title match. But first, we're going to be hearing from the mysterious wrestler known as The Lock, who trapped Grayson Holiday inside a steel cage at Battle of Champions, beating him nearly to death. We're going to be hearing from The Lock next here on Brawl. And here comes the Lock, making his way to the ring to address the crowd regarding Battle of Champions. I'm sure you all have a lot of questions. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is The Lock. At Battle of Champions, you saw my namesake when I trapped Grayson Holiday in a steel cage and beat him to an inch of his life. I am out to make a name for myself as the king of the cage. That is why, next week, I challenge Holiday to a steel cage match. Let's find out if you are everything you say you are. That is, if you are man enough. And The Lock making the challenge to Grayson Holiday next week on BRAWL. The Lock versus Grayson Holiday in a steel cage match. But now coming up here on BRAWL, it's time for the Witch to take on Red one-on-one.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making her way to the ring from Salem, Massachusetts, the Women's Grand Prix Champion, the Witch.
As we saw earlier, Director April Cassidy is not happy with any of the champions here on BRAWL, nearly all of them losing to the champions of Dystopia at Battle of Champions, including the Witch, who lost to Benjamin Bourne in the main event of Night 2. Tonight's singles match is not just an audition for Red, but is serving as punishment for the Witch.
And her opponent from Bolton, New York, Red.
As Red once again showing off that GTW contract she is so proud of. And I know she's had an impressive record since her debut, defeating Jamie Hayter twice. Frankly, Jamie Hayter being the only one she's even wrestled so far. But I don't know, if you ask me, I think Red kind of comes off a bit entitled here. And here we go. The Witch versus Red. First time ever. No title on the line. Red wins. She will be able to secure a title match against Haley Webb next week for the Women's Intercontinental title. And you can definitely tell that she can taste that championship gold as she is bringing the noise to the Witch, attacking her the same way she kept that pressure on Jamie Hayter in both of their contests. Witch attempting a dropkick, however, nobody home. I'll say this, if Red could win this match, and legitimately win this match, she will have my respect. The Witch is definitely not a pushover, definitely not someone you can just easily beat. The Witch immediately going for the cover here. Red with the immediate kick out. The Witch defeated Dio Sebastian for the Grand Tour title at the main event of WrestleNova. And as far as I'm concerned, even though Benjamin Bourne won at Battle of Champions, the record between those two is 1-1 right now. There's no doubt that the Witch, even though at the moment is not considered the undisputed champion, is definitely a very close second. There's Red rolling the Witch into a pin. Witch kicking out before even a 1. And Red again just keeping that pressure on the Witch. The Witch throwing an elbow to the ribs. She goes under. Amazing athleticism by the Women's Grand Tour champion. Now the Witch using the rope as leverage to wrench the arm of Red as she springs off. And here comes the Witch with a helicopter. We still have our main event right after this. Channing Stacks Lorenzo versus Obelisk for the Intercontinental title. And Red really laying the pressure. And here comes Amanda Price. Amanda Price in the middle of the match coming out to defend the Witch here. Oh, what? Whoa, what's this? Amanda Price just laid the Witch out. The referee doesn't even know what to do. Whether to call for a DQ or... I don't believe this. I don't believe this. Amanda Price just completely laid out the Witch, and the referee is not even calling for a disqualification here. She probably has orders under April Cassidy to make sure that Red does not get disqualified. And Red nearly had the match right there with Amanda Price laying out her best friend. You see just how frustrated Red was. She realized that was her chance to win the match. And the Witch now with a baseball bat attacking Red. I guess this is officially a no disqualification match between Amanda Price attacking the Witch, and now the Witch using a foreign object. I'm actually getting confirmation from Gorilla that this is in fact officially a no DQ match now. The Witch going for a desperate cover here. 1, 2, and Red with the kick out. And you can just see how frustrated the Witch is, wondering why Amanda Price would turn her back on her like that. For a second, it looked like she was there to defend her friend, and then end up attacking the Witch. You can just see it on the Witch's face. She looks so betrayed right now. She looks so angry. Every swing for that baseball bat, pure aggression from what Amanda Price has just done to her. Red with a huge powerbomb onto the floor outside the ring. And Red going for the cover. 1, 2, and the Witch with a kick out. And the Witch gets the Witch's curse. The Witch's curse on Red. This could be her chance to win the match. 1, 2, 3, and the Witch wins the match despite despite Amanda Price's interference.
Here is your winner, The Witch!
It looks like Red will not be receiving that Intercontinental Championship match after all.
The following contest is a ladder match and is for the Intercontinental Championship. Introducing the challenger, representing the family from Chicago, Illinois, weighing in at 206 pounds, the Underboss, Channing Stacks Lorenzo.
Channing Stacks Lorenzo trying to prove that he's a valuable member of the family to Tony D'Angelo. D'Angelo losing to Obelisk at Battle of Champions. Lorenzo hoping to do better here tonight and bring the Intercontinental Championship gold to the family.
And introducing the champion, representing the Final Testament, from parts unknown, weighing in at 600 pounds, the Intercontinental Champion.
And here comes the Intercontinental Champion, Obelisk, the newest member of the Final Testament, defending his championship in a ladder match. He has defeated Tony D'Angelo, the leader of the family, at Battle of Champions in the champion versus champion match of tonight's contest. Him and Channing Stacks Lorenzo must climb 15 feet up on a ladder to retrieve the Intercontinental title to claim the gold here tonight. And here comes the bell, and right off the bat, Channing Stacks Lorenzo and Obelisk throwing punches right at each other. Lorenzo not backing down. However, that super strength and size of Obelisk is going to be a challenge for Lorenzo here tonight. And this is not just a singles match. This is a ladder match. The objective, to climb up a 50-foot ladder to grab the championship belt. And he's going to have to somehow incapacitate Obelisk to do that. Brilliant strategy by Channing Stacks Lorenzo, immediately using the ladder as a weapon. His own strength alone won't be enough to take him out. However, foreign objects allowed in this match, especially ladders, may do the trick and take him out long enough to climb up for the belt. I was throwing Lorenzo into the steel stairs. There's Lorenzo making his way back into the ring here in tonight's main event. He's going for the ladder here. Obelisk coming in. A headbutt to the back of the head of Channing Stacks Lorenzo. Obelisk bringing a steel chair into the ring. Lorenzo going for that ladder, but not fast enough as Obelisk hits him right over the head with the steel chair. Oh, just look at him. using the chair to bend the arm, trying to break Lorenzo's arm, and he pulls it out. Oh! Oh, nice move by Lorenzo. The chin of Obelisk banging against the edge of the chair there. It did not do much to keep him down, but still, gotta give credit where credit's due. That was a very clever move by Lorenzo. And there's Obelisk with a spine buster onto Channing Stacks Lorenzo. Now setting up the ladder. And Lorenzo raking the eyes, using every trick he knows to keep the 600-pound monster at bay. Another clever move, slamming his arm into the chair, and he's going for the belt. However, he did not see Obelisk getting right back up, completely no-selling him. And a tilt-a-whirl slam by Obelisk onto Channing Stacks Lorenzo. Now Obelisk himself making the climb for the belt. Lorenzo completely knocked out. No, Obelisk is staying on top of the ladder. He's not going for the belt. He went to go for a high-risk move. Lorenzo saw it coming though. Obelisk just dropped 15 feet off the air and nobody home. You gotta give it to Lorenzo. In this match though, he's showing lots of heart, trying to overcome a lot against this giant monster known as Obelisk, who's again climbing the ladder. Looks like he's gonna try again, staying on top of the ladder, high flying move, and Lorenzo with a code breaker. Obelisk attempting for that belt now. And Lorenzo pushing the ladder. Obelisk falling 15 feet from the air. And now that I'm thinking about it, Lorenzo might actually have a chance winning this match, considering he can use certain advantages, such as using that ladder as a weapon or using a height advantage. Every time Obelisk is on that ladder and Lorenzo knocks it over, that's 15 feet in the air. Obelisk goes. Now we see Obelisk setting up a ladder between the ring and the announcer's desk. I can only imagine he has planned that ladder like between the ring and the announcer's desk here. It's definitely not there for climbing. Right hand, Obelisk with an open hand chop. Lorenzo not backing down though. Just feel so bad for him. Those look like such weak punches compared to Obelisk right now. But yet he's still standing. He's not willing to give up. He wants to show Tony D'Angelo that he is a valued member of the family. He wants to bring championship gold home to the family. And here they go in a huge slugfest. Can Lorenzo outlast? And he does! Lorenzo manages to out-brawl Obelisk. And he comes in for his body splash. Obelisk sweeping the leg. Lorenzo landing on the ladder. And here goes a lariat. Lariat takedown by Channing Stacks Lorenzo. Got the ladder set up in the middle of the ring. Hit to the midsection. And a curb stomp onto Obelisk. Lorenzo taking advantage of it now, climbing the ladder while the Intercontinental Champion is asleep on the ring. He's going for the belt. Can he do it? He's always got it. No, Obelisk attacking behind. Lorenzo was so close to becoming Intercontinental Champion. And he just dropped the ladder. Lorenzo falling 15 feet in the air. As Obelisk on the top turnbuckle. High flying move. Code breaker by Lorenzo. If he's half the strategist I think he is, I think I know where he's going with that. And another brilliant strategy. Speaking of which, Lorenzo attacking the leg of Obelisk, trying to keep him off his feet there. Now he's got the ladder set up in the middle of the ring. Looks like he's going for the climb. And Obelisk meeting him at the top of the ladder here. Oh, this looks dangerous. Lorenzo going for a right hand, and he knocks Obelisk down. Lorenzo going for that steel chair. He's not dumb enough to think that Obelisk is going to just stay down after that. Look at him just throwing a foreign object into Obelisk there. Coming in with a clothesline. And there he is again attacking the legs with that steel chair. And here's Obelisk just completely bodying Lorenzo. Using that size and power to his advantage. Lorenzo with another knee stomp into the back of the head. Obelisk is down. Lorenzo going for the ladder. He's going for the climb, but Obelisk getting back up. And down goes Lorenzo. Just now on that top rope. Frog splash on Lorenzo, and you can see Lorenzo's entire ribcage just being crushed in by the Intercontinental Champion. Obelisk now going for the climb. And Lorenzo going for the push. Oh no, Obelisk was not about to fall for that, as he does a smart thing and climbs back down before Lorenzo could push the ladder. And Lorenzo flying over the top rope, landing on top of the ladder there. As Obelisk now makes the climb, Lorenzo completely knocked out. Obelisk almost has it. Nearly has the belt. And he has it. Obelisk retains the Intercontinental Championship.
Here is your winner, and still the Intercontinental Champion.
That was a good effort by Channing Stacks Lorenzo. However, Obelisk was just too much for the underboss. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you watching my content here on my Twitch channel, Infinite Fantasy If, don't forget to follow so you get those notifications when new live streams come to you. We're talking about not just weekly shows, but pay-per-views, house shows, and also other gaming streams such as Star Wars Outlaws, Marvel Rivals, and soon to come 007 First Light. And for those of you watching my material on YouTube at Infinite Fantasy If, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell to know when new GTW content comes to you. And as always, may your fantasies be infinite.